Greetings, welcome ladies and gents of the Super Gamer, and welcome to another episode of the Super Gamer Reloaded. This is the show where I take a look at all 40 games for the first two seasons of the Super Gamer because those reviews suck and they are severely outdated.
Zelda 2, don't I have quite the history with you. Back when I first reviewed this game in that terrible pilot episode, I stated that I hated the game. My first re-review I did in 2015, I said that I liked it. Did I, or was I just lying to myself the whole time? Let's find out. This is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. This game takes place several years after Zelda 1. Link is told by Impa that Zelda has been put under a sleeping spell by an evil wizard. Impa tells Link that the Triforce is the only thing that can wake her up, so Link sets out to find it. Little does he know that Ganon's minions are hunting Link down to spill his blood over the ashes of Ganon, resurrecting Ganon back to life. The story for Zelda 2 is really dark for a Zelda game. I mean, think about it. People are out for your blood to resurrect a monster. That's pretty screwed up. But regardless, it's still a great plot for an NES game. Here's an unpopular opinion. I think that this game looks better than Zelda 2. No, I'm not kidding. Because of the 2D side-scrolling perspective, a lot of these sprites just simply look better to me. The enemies, the overworld, and the townsfolk are all great-looking NES sprites. I can also say the same thing about the music. The original game had maybe 3 tracks that I remembered. However, this game has way more memorable tracks, like the overworld theme, the town theme, the battle theme, and of course the epicness that is the temple theme. The gameplay is probably the most controversial thing to talk about in this game. Zelda 2 plays nothing like its predecessor. Instead of exploring a world filled with enemies and dungeons on a 2D plane, Zelda 2 plays a lot more like a mix of Final Fantasy and Super Mario Bros. The Final Fantasy comparison comes from the fact that you have an experience bar and you travel the map encountering enemies like an RPG. The Super Mario Bros. Comparison is made because when you encounter enemies, towns, or other events, you are transported into a 2D battlefield similar to Mario Bros. The combat in Zelda 2 is very similar to Dark Souls. Now I know you guys are tired of the Dark Souls comparison when it comes to hard games, but just hear me out for a second. Dark Souls is all about mastering the art of careful positioning and timing. Zelda 2 is the 2D equivalent of that. You can jump, swing your sword at the upper or lower part of the body, and eventually learn to pull a Scrooge McDuck and pogo off of your enemies. You can also have several magic spells at your disposal. These spells are critical for you to finish this game, since it'll make the game a lot easier for you. Every time you level up, you can upgrade your attack power, health, and magic uses. The enemies' difficulty levels are shown by what color they are. If it's blue, they're pretty easy. If it's orange, they're a little bit more challenging, but not too hard. If it's red, then they're the hardest enemies in the game, excluding boss fights. So what exactly makes Zelda 2 so difficult? Well, here's the thing. As hard as Dark Souls is, at the very least it has checkpoints for you to return to whenever you die. Zelda 2, on the other hand, has no checkpoints, period. Granted, you still keep all your upgrades, items, and spells, but even still, you die, you start right back at square one. Dark Souls doesn't seem so hard anymore now, does it? I mean, if it wasn't for this one single solitary flaw, I would consider this game to be one of my favorite Zelda games in a heartbeat. I'm not kidding, that's my honest opinion. Overall, Zelda 2, except for the no checkpoints part, I believe to be way better than the original game in every way. Better music, better graphics, and much more fun combat than Zelda 1. Again, if it weren't for the fact that there are no checkpoints, I would consider this game to be one of my favorite installments in the Zelda series. And hey, using save states with the Wii U, 3DS, or emulators, that one flaw can be easily worked around. I'm going to give Zelda 2 a 5 out of 5.
Until then, I'm the Super Gamer and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!